Welcome back to Harmonize Your Life, Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Toni G. Alvarado. We'll be right back with another exciting episode. All right. Tammy Smith, welcome to the Harmonize Your Life podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here with us on today. I want to introduce you to our podcast audience. I know that our conversation on today is going to be a blessing to all those who are listening. Let me introduce my guest to you today. Tammy Smith is the CEO of S.T.A.R Coaching and Consulting Services in Columbus, Ohio. The purpose of the company is to develop a better you. S.T.A.R is the acronym for serving others through community partnerships, teaching and training new skills, achieving goals through accountability, and reconnecting you to your dreams, visions, and purpose. She holds undergraduate degrees in business management and psychology. Also, she graduated from the Ohio State University with a master's in social work with a specialty training in mental health and substance abuse treatment. She is also a licensed clinical social worker with the state of Ohio. She is also a certified coach through Targeted Living Coaching and Consulting, and she is on the coaching team or staff of My Sister's Keeper Foundation for Women. She is a sister beloved and a friend, a confidant, and a colleague, and I thank her for being here. She's a member of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network, and we're going to talk about that today, right, Tammy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Tammy, listen, I'm getting a little feedback on your end. Do you have like me on audio or something? Whatever you're on, mute it. Okay. Just like, it seems like I'm coming through on your device. Are we good? Okay. Come off mute. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
That's better. That's better. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not getting feedback from me to you.
Excellent. Okay.
Good. So how are you today?
I am doing great. I am thankful to be here today. I am excited. And, I was thinking like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
And this process, right?
Our paths just crossed and connected.
Absolutely.
And we've been connected ever since.
Absolutely. It started out with just me wanting to better myself and join the yoga class. And then from there, coach training to now staff with MSK. I mean, this thing, and then some mentoring there going on. So there's a lot going on with this relationship, and I am thankful and grateful for it.
And I'm grateful for you. The Bible says deep calleth unto deep.
Glory.
And so there is something deep inside of you that connects with the depth that's in me. And I think this is the Spirit of God. I think it's our passion for helping people. It's our love for worship and the presence of God. It's just so many things. And then now our passion for fitness.
Yes.
health and wellness, self-care, all those things have just kind of, I don't know, it's like God just connected us at the right time.
At the right time, yes.
At the right time. And I appreciate the Lord for connecting us in heart and spirit and in mission. I really do.
Yes.
So Tammy, this is the 1 year anniversary. The month of June is the 1 year anniversary of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. And you joined the network shortly after we launched.
Yes.
And so, like you said, we got connected, but you've been a part of the network from the beginning of the network. I mean, literally, I think you joined in June, the month that we, June 2020, the month that we launched. And so it's been a full year. And I remember when we had your first session, when I did your assessment, your self-care assessment, and we did we worked on your goals, your health and wellness goals for the year. And you have been killing it. I mean, you have been really, really, really doing it. And you said something the other day on social media that I want to use as kind of our platform, our kind of the basis of our conversation on today.
Yes.
You talked about it not just being about losing weight, although you have lost weight.
Yes.
How much weight have you lost since you've joined the network?
I have lost 42 pounds. 42 pounds. And so many.
Last year to this year, 42 pounds. I love it.
And it's so interesting when I joined, I put myself on this plan. I said, I'm going to give myself a year because I wanted to take time. I didn't want to try to lose it quick because I've lost weight before quickly and gained it back. So I wanted to put myself on a journey where I just pace myself. So yes, I am excited about my 42 pounds.
and you know what? And you've done an excellent job. You've been consistent.
Thank you.
That's what it takes. You've been committed.
Amen.
All right. And I appreciate that. And so you said something, you said you put yourself on a journey.
Yes.
And that's what self-care, that's the whole premise for me about self-care is that self-care is a journey. That's what the title of my book, Harmonize Your Life, a journey towards self-care, because it's not a one-time or pointillist moment. It's a journey that we're on. I've been on this journey now almost 22 years. And 22 years I've been on this journey. I marked the time by the year the year after my daughter, the year that my daughter was born. And so that's how I mark how long I've been on this journey. And she'll be 22 years old this year in September. Yes. And so it was during that time where I got on this path and I got on this journey, right? Shortly after Ariel was born. And it has been a journey, and it's not about fast pace. It's not about losing weight quickly. And like you said, you've lost weight quickly before, and then you have to be back.
That's right.
And we'll talk more why that happens. Why does that happen to us? And but you said the other day, you said it's not about losing weight. You said it's about being healthy.
Absolutely.
And so I want to talk to us today. I want you to talk a little bit more about your journey. I'm going to give you a few minutes just to tell us about your journey over this past year. And then I want us to pick up on what you said the other day on social media about it not being just about losing weight. Although you've lost 42 pounds, I mean, girl, listen, I'm so excited. In January, I started on my meatless meal journey, and we did that together, right?
Absolutely. Still on
it. And I've lost, when I went to the doctor this week, they, I don't like the doctor's office scale because they, I'm fully dressed.
Oh, right.
But when I weigh myself right after I get out the shower.
Birthday suit.
After I've had my morning release, you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
And then I get on the scale. And according to my scale, I've lost 18 pounds since January.
Woo-wee.
18. My goal is 20.
Okay.
And so, I've lost 18 pounds since January. But you said it's not about losing weight. It's about being healthy. So I want us to talk about that in the idea of non-scale wins.
Yes.
Non-scale victories and non-scale wins, because oftentimes we beat ourselves up. We get on the scale, and I've been told by some trainers and health and wellness fitness persons not to get on the scale all the time, because we want to weigh our success by what the scale says. And sometimes the scale is only one aspect
one aspect
of what is going on with us in our health and wellness and our fitness and our self-care. So talk to us about your journey through self-care over this past year, and as a part of the network, what it's been for you. Yeah, just share.
You know, when I came across the opportunity to join the SelfCare network, I was in a place where I felt like this is it. I've reached my low and my high in terms of weight, but my low in terms of like not feeling myself, not feeling as though I have reached my potential, my purpose, and I felt stagnant. And there were a lot of things going on personally. We had just came out of a crisis situation with my family and the pandemic, just a lot going on. And inside of me, God just, he like resurrections, right? He brings us out, and the Holy Spirit will not let me stay where I was. And so I pulled on that, and I start seeing you. I start seeing this yoga post and, join yoga. And so that's how that started. I reached out to you and, had an opportunity to join yoga, and I found out that I needed to do a little bit more work before I got to the yoga phase. I had to build some muscle, tone a little bit more, lose a few pounds. And so, I needed to do that for me, mental health, physical health, emotional health. I pull on John 3:2 that says, "Beloved, I pray that you prosper and be in good health. Even your spirit, man." That means not just my physical, but my soul, man. And so I was at a place where I needed a breakthrough. I needed to feel like I was moving forward. I think there comes a time in our life that sometimes we get stagnant. And I was at that place. And I'm like, even in a pandemic, I know I can still move forward. I know that I can still fulfill purpose. And so I pulled on that, and I began to reach out, and I joined the SelfCare network. I'm like, I'm going to make this investment because I deserve to be linked to such an awesome ministry. I deserve that in my life. So many times I put other people before me, and I put other things before me. But then it came time for me to take care of me. And so me putting me in the forefront and putting everything behind me, not that everything wasn't as important, but what I discovered that is when I neglect myself, I can never give all of who I am to another person. Like I could never be there fully for you if I can't take care of me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you said a bunch of things I want to go back to, and I want to unpack a few things that you just said.
Yes.
A couple of things you said, number one, that you put you first. You make the investment in you. And I tell women all the time, we have to be willing to make the investment in our self-care, in our health and our wellness. We spend money on hair, nails. We spend money on, you know what I'm saying? We spend money on handbags, shoes, and outfits. But what about your mental health? I mean, you can be dressed to the nine, but be messed up mentally and emotionally. And nobody's going to be bothered with you or be in your company because your attitude is messed up or your life is not good. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just, unhealthy. Your numbers are off the chart. Your blood pressure's off the chart. Your thyroid levels are off the chart. Your sugar level is off the chart. Hemoglobin, all those things matter to who we are and who God called us to be. And so just that idea that you invested in yourself. And then this self-care network, really, it's not, when people go and they find out it's really the cost of a cup of coffee or a Happy Meal, or a nice lunch somewhere at a not even a 5-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Just a nice meal somewhere. And it's an investment in you. It's something that you're intentionally doing for yourself. And that's what I appreciated about you when you joined the network. You took it on as an investment in Tammy.
Yes.
You took it on as, you said, I can't do for everybody else in my world if I'm not taking care of me.
That's right.
And how many of us make that mistake?
Yes. And not doing that, not taking care of me, that means I show up with attitude. That means I show up frustrated, right? Because I haven't taken care of me. So when I take care of me, I show up with peace. I bring solutions. I'm authentic. I could be myself, right? So I found out that taking care of me first makes everything so much better.
It makes everything. Yes, everything. I love that you said you're showing up for you. And that's a non-scale victory.
Yes.
That's a non-scale win, because a lot of times we look, like I said before, we look at the scale to see whether or not we are made progress. But the fact that you are able to show up for you is a victory. That's a win, because many women lose when it comes to that area.
Yes.
We lose because we do not show up. We show up for everyone else.
Everybody else.
But we don't show up for ourselves.
Absolutely. Put ourselves on the back burner, and it's obvious, right? It's you can tell, right?
How can we tell, Tammy? Tell me. How can we tell?
Yeah. We show up looking sometime any kind of way, right? Frustrated. You can tell when you haven't taken care of you. And others can definitely tell that for sure.
Yeah. So what are the non-scale wins would you say you have gained in this year of being a part of the network, showing up for yourself, being committed, all the things that you've done as a part of the things that we have discussed in our tea time conversations, the posts that I sent out to the network, the information, the strategies, self-care strategies that I share with you all. What other non-scale victories have you won?
Well, Dr. Toni, I'll say this. I started listening to your podcast and watching the women that you were interviewing, and they really helped me in my journey. It was more than just my physical health. Yes, I did put on weight, but I put on the weight and the burdens of the world. I was carrying so much, and that made me heavy. And so I began to tap into what you had in place. I mean, God blessed you to put this in place to help people like me. And you're still helping people like me on your journey. And it really helped me to get to the issues concerning my mental health, right?
Yeah.
You let me know that it's okay to get help.
Yeah.
And I am a coach and counselor. But guess what? Counselors need counselors too. So coaches need coaches too, right?
Yeah.
And so it was
pastors need pastors. Teachers need teachers. You know what I'm saying? We need help. Tammy, I started I'm a big proponent of therapy. Of counseling and therapy. The Bible says in the multitude of counsel, there's safety. And so I've always had a therapist. I've been in therapy periodically over the years. And just like I've had different trainers over the years, I've had different therapists. So right now I'm in therapy for grief.
Okay.
I started grief therapy this week because of my mom's passing.
Excellent.
And one of the things that my therapist said to me in our first session this week was, she said, those of us who are in the helping professions, pastors, teachers, counselors, therapists themselves, doctors, nurses. She said, those of us that are in those professions, she said, we are pouring out and we're giving so much to people. You know what she said? She said, people don't come to you. She said, that's Toni. People don't come to you to give. They come to you to get. She said, when people, because of your role.
Yes.
So when they come to you, they don't come to you with the mindset of giving. They come to you with the mindset of getting. And then she said, that's not a bad thing, because that's who God put you in the earth that's what God put you in the earth for, right? For people to eat of the fruit of your life, your gifting, your calling, all of those things. She said, but those of us who are in those professions, because we are pouring out,
yes,
we get dry faster than others. And so we have to be watered.
Yes.
And so these type of relationships water us. They refresh us.
Yes.
Counselors and therapists and being a part of things like what we're doing here with the Self-Care Network. We are refreshing one another. And so that's so good. It is okay to get help. And I'm so glad that you as a counselor realize that. And now you're getting help.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, and it makes such a difference to have a counselor, someone that you can confide in, someone that you can talk to. And you talked about like refreshing others, but we need to be refreshed too. And who do we talk to? I mean, of course we talk to God, right? Of course we talk to him. He is our great counselor, right? And it's also great that he's put people in the earth that we can talk to, that can pour back in us, that can give us positive feedback, can tell us when we're wrong and we missed the mark and set us straight too, right?
Help us to see those blinders, those blind spots.
Absolutely.
That we, and help us with perspective.
Yes.
And walk us through, different seasons of our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Self-Care Network came, I'm telling you, it was like right on time, talking about the timing of God. It was so perfect for me in my life and where I was in my journey. And I'm still connected. I plan to stay connected, right? It continues to help me.
I'm not letting you go. I'm glad.
And it helps me. And guess what? I pay it forward. So now I'm on social media. I'm saying, hey, working out is like only 4% of your day. Come on, let's do this. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Yeah. So now I'm paying it forward, right? Because you pour out, and then we're to still give it and still help other people, so that they, taking care of yourself is the right thing to do. Because if you don't take care of you, you only get one you.
Yeah, that's it. And you only get one pass at this. You only get one turn at this point. And you might as well live your best life, right? You might as well live it the best way that you can.
Yeah.
Tammy, you said something earlier. You talked about as a part of your non-scale victories.
Yes.
You talked about showing up for yourself. Can you talk to us a little bit about why, maybe from your own journey or from your own experience, why is it that women have a problem showing up for themselves?
I think it's a conditioning that we have, perhaps taught to us. Maybe in observation, we've seen women not show up for themselves for years going back. The woman stay home, the woman take care of everything and show up for everyone else. The woman cook, clean, do all those things, but in the background and never really showing up for themselves. So I think some of it is conditioned. Some of it has been learned.
Learned behavior.
Learned from other people, from observation. And I think we've taken it on like it's okay to neglect yourself. But that's malice. That's like a misconception, right? Yeah. So the truth is we must take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we must put ourselves first. We can no longer neglect, or I like to use I statements, right? I can no longer neglect myself and put
no longer. If you're listening to this podcast or you're watching us on YouTube right now, I want you to write or type or something. I can no longer neglect myself.
Yes, yes.
That's an affirmation. That is a non-scale victory. That's a non-scale win. When you have that mindset change.
Yes.
We talked about mindset with Pastor Melody Boone.
Absolutely. Yes.
Last week on the podcast, we talked about mindset with her. And we're talking about that shift in your mindset. I can no longer, it's not an option. Self-care is a priority. Yes. It's not a luxury. It's a priority.
Yes. And speaking of priority, when I went through my coaching training, I learned so much. And one of the things I took away from that is that term that we use called habit stack.
Yeah.
Habit stack. Yeah. And so,
habit stack, yes.
Yeah. So the habit stack means I make things a lot more smoother for myself. Like when I wake up in the morning, my clothes have already been picked out the night before.
Yes.
I have my vitamins. I have everything I need. All my shoes is picked out. So that leaves me no excuse for not being able to work out and take care of myself. So this journey has been amazing. I've learned so much, and my goal is to help others, is to pour back into others as I have received. And so I am so thankful. So
that's another non-scale win.
Absolutely.
That's another non-scale win. Number one, you said you learned the habit stack. We talked about that in our coach training. And those of you that are watching us, we will have our next coach training class coming up in the fall. So be listening out for that. But so we talked about habit stacking, and I look at it as setting ourselves up for success.
Yes, for wins.
Right?
Yes,
for wins, for success, for victories. And so that's another non-scale win, because a lot of times women start out on this journey, and then because we have not set up our environment, we haven't set up our space, our living space, we haven't done what we need to do, the prep work. Because getting up early in the morning, working out, or whatever time you work out, it doesn't start with when you get up. It starts with the preparation. The day before, or the early morning before, or whatever. So you got to get other things in place.
Yes.
So that way you can be focused when you get to your working out or whatever it is you're going to be doing concerning self-care, health, and wellness. And so that habit stacking and setting yourself up for success is another non-scale victory. Absolutely. A non-scale win. Another one that I heard you say was you're paying it forward.
Paying it forward.
A non-scale win, because it's something refreshing that refreshes us when we're able to help others.
Absolutely.
It is life-giving. Yeah.
I think that's the way it's supposed to be too. I mean, to sit around with all this knowledge and information and not give it away. I mean, that's just sitting around getting fat, right? But to give it away, I believe it allows us to be replenished. And as you said, refreshed. It's a blessing when you're able to help someone else and that light come on. It's like, oh yeah, I need to do this, and I need to do this for me. I need to take care of me for me, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I tell you, you have been a blessing in our lives. I just want to do a little station identification for those who are just joining us or just watching. You're watching or you're listening to the Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with Dr. Toni Alvarado. My guest in the studio today is Tammy Smith, and we are talking about self-care and non-scale wins, non-scale victories, non-scale wins. And Tammy is dropping a whole lot of nuggets on us this morning. And so I'm appreciative of her. You can find this podcast on Apple, on Google, on Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube. You can follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to. Listen, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go there and do so. I'm trying to get my YouTube subscribers up. So I need you to go there and I need you to subscribe so that way you'll always get a notification when a new podcast episode or anything that Dr. Toni is doing drops. I also want you to know, ladies, that I want you to join the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. Join us, join us, join us. Listen, we are a network of women that are concerned about self-care for ourselves and for one another. We're predominantly, our group is predominantly geared toward African-American women or women of color, because we feel like that is an area that our community has been lacking in and we feel called to. Tammy, one of the things you said earlier that I want to say thank you for affirming this for me. You call this a ministry. And I want you to know that that really affirmed me when you said that, because I wrestled with, whether or not this was ministry or, as a pastor, you know what I'm saying? But I see this as an extension of the ministry God has given me in the pulpit. This podcast, I know that God told me to do this and to take this message to the body of Christ, to our community, because we perish for the lack of knowledge. And I believe God has called me to inspire, inform, educate, support, encourage, and help women of color with accountability in this area. So if you need fitness motivation, if you need health and wellness information and inspiration, or if you need accountability and support, come on into the Harmonize Your Life Women's Network. I promise you, we'll do you good on your journey. I am so delighted that Tammy is a part of this network, not just as one who receives, but she's also one who gives. In our network, we have doctors, lawyers, we have school teachers, we have pastors, we have mothers, single women, married women, women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Listen, we don't care what your age is. We don't care what station of life you're in. Come on, because you not only do we have something to give you or something for you to receive, but you also have something to give. The Bible says iron sharpens iron, and that's what we are about in this network. We're about sharpening one another. We're about supporting one another. We're about holding one another accountable. We're about laughing together, crying together, having a good time together, and being healthy, spirit, soul, and body. I want you to know that when you go to my website, there is fitness apparel there. So I want you to go there, purchase some of the fitness apparel so you can be cute. I'm wearing one of my t-shirts right here, the Harmony Bling t-shirt. You'll find that there on my website, along with other t-shirts and other things that you can wear while you're working out, because you can be cute while you're working out.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So go there and get you some Harmony fitness apparel and support what I'm doing here in the Self-Care Network. Our guest, again, is Tammy Smith. I want you to follow Tammy. She is the CEO and founder of S.T.A.R Coaching and Consulting, LLC. And you can follow her on Instagram at Tammy L. Smith 100. You can also follow her on Facebook at Tammy Smith. And I know that when you follow her posts, she's always posting. You heard her say she's paying it forward now. So she's following my posts, and now she's posting. And that's the way we do it in the Self-Care Network, right? Absolutely. We are encouraging other women to get on board. Tammy, thank you again for helping us with these 9-scale victories on this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. Thank you for being a part of my life, a part of the ministry and the work that God has called me to do in this space, in health and wellness and self-care in this arena. And before we leave, I want you to just give us one last parting thought or one last encouragement concerning 9-scale victories.
Yes. So the thing that comes to mind is purpose. And in order to fulfill purpose and walk out destiny, you have to take care of yourself. I mean, it's going to be pretty impossible to not walk in your purpose when you have a hard time breathing, right? When you can't do the things that you need to do because of being overweight, because of lack of clarity, due to a need for counseling, and so forth. So I encourage you to take care of yourself so that you can fulfill your purpose, because your purpose is important and is linked to other people. So that is my encouragement to you today. And I just want to thank you, and thank you, Dr. Toni. I appreciate you so much. I'm so grateful to be linked to the SelfCare Network. And I wish you much success in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate you. All right, you all. That was Tammy Smith and I talking about non-scale victories, non-scale wins on today. Don't let the scale be the only determination of success. All right. Whether you've lost 1 pound or 42 pounds like Tammy in a year, or 18 pounds like Dr. Toni in 6 months, it doesn't matter. You want to be whole, spirit, soul, and body. Catch us again next week for another intriguing self-care conversation with the Harmonize Your Life, Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Toni G. Alvarado. We'll see you soon. Hi, this is Dr. Toni Alvarado. I am so delighted about bringing the Harmonize Your Life podcast to you. Would you do me a favor? If you are enjoying this podcast, would you email me at hello@drtonyalvarado.com? I want to hear from you. I want your feedback. I want to know if there are any other topics that you are interested in as it relates to wellness, self-care, nutrition, or just overall bringing harmony into your life. Email me, contact me at hello@drtonyalvarado.com.